Was it a PlayStation game?
No.
Okay, so it's an N64 game. Then I know what it is.
Okay. What is it?
All right.
This week.
A 2000 era.
May 22nd, 2000.
Yeah. Banjo-Tooie came out that year, but it was later in the year.
That's correct.
So what was I playing the summer of 2000?
I said this was one of my favorite games of all time.
Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark. Oh,
Dark.
okay.
25 years
Great
old
game.
this week.
Wow. So all that's... I remember playing this game over a summer, too.
Yeah.
So it was the summer of 2000.
Yep. Yeah, I remember
That gun
playing
was
it.
so cheap.
Oh, is that which one?
I forget what it's called. I think it's like the periscope gun. I don't know, but you could just shoot
That's
enemies.
the far sight, right? You can just shoot through
The
walls.
far sight. There
it was
it is.
great.
You could just
How
shoot
did they-
enemies through walls.
How do they program that?
I know.
That's so magical in the Nintendo 64.
This is one of my favorite
Well,
games.
this game, you had to have the expansion pack.
Yep.
To play this game.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
This is like
Remember Elvis?
Elvis the alien, who I think I always thought he was wearing like a suit, and I thought it was supposed to be like an Elvis, like whatever, like. But I think it's actually more of a nod to James Bond in GoldenEye. I think he was supposed to be wearing like a white suit.
Yeah, I
like
think just a little tux for some
Yeah,
reason.
tux.
I don't think they were smart enough to put him in some kind of like velvet Las Vegas gown.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But man, yeah, I played this. I would have played this over the summer, and then this is like my friend and I's hangout game. Like after rival schools, it'd be Perfect Dark. Just playing this. The
Same.
multiplayer was so good. I loved how you could customize the weapon loadouts, add in bots. You mentioned the Farsight. I always
Meat Sims.
What's up?
The Meat Sims.
The Meat Sims. Yeah,
Is what the
Yeah.
bots were called.
I love the laptop gun.
Yeah.
Remember the laptop gun had the firing range hack where you could bring in the laptop gun to the firing range and then you could do a different guns challenge and the laptop gun would kill all the targets in it.
Because it was just a
Because it was
turret.
auto
That's
shooting.
great.
Yeah, there it is. There's the target range. It was so funny and it worked. It was such a good hack. Because I think that unlocked a bunch of stuff in multiplayer or something too. Like you wanted to do the firing range for some reason that I can't remember. There it is. There's the hack. That's so good.
I mean, so for whatever reason, I never owned GoldenEye. I don't know why, but I had this and I loved it. When this came
I
out,
didn't either. It was exactly the same. I only owned Perfect Dark.
this would have been like the gold standard for a console FPS for 1 year because Halo would be out the next year, right?
Look at that frame
2001.
rate.
I know. So like, yeah, the original is very choppy and sometimes blurry, but they remastered this in 2010. I remastered it. I reviewed.
For Xbox 360, right? And it like actually had twin sticks and
Yep. And I think that version is still very playable and very fun today.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'd be fun to play through the campaign of that. I mean, even seeing the graphics of the original and like I remember the office building exterior and then the interior like windows that shatter and stuff like that. It's just every once in a while there's a trick that you didn't remember that the Nintendo 64 could pull off. Like really good lighting sometimes, you know. And it's just great.
Also, this had a lot of voice acting, which I think it must have taken up a lot of memory in that cartridge. Because they're not just pulling it off of a CD like you would on PlayStation, right?
Oh yeah,
It's actually taking up memory inside the cartridge.
big problem with those cartridges.
Yeah. This is like Rare at its peak. 2 years. I think this is its peak because also I think I forget the director of this game. I think he left either like right at the end of Perfect Dark's development or right afterwards. And then I think key members of Rare started to leave, and then they were acquired by Microsoft in 2002.
Well, and I mean, what I just say, like the Banjo-Tooie also came out this year. Like, what a
And then
role
Conquer,
they were on.
Yeah.
And then Conquer. Like this is like one of those companies now where you're like the Yakuza creators or something. You're just like, well, there's still people that can make these crazy AAA games back to back to back.
David,
Like,
it's
what is
you.
going on?
Your lower third was up. I don't know what you're saying in the video.
Oh,
but your lower third was up.
I said I reviewed the remastered version, so that's probably what this is.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah. I'm so excited for the.
Well, the reboot. It's like, man, it was announced 5 years ago. I know we saw it last summer, which is great, but nothing since then. I don't know. Crystal
I thought
Dynamics.
the Xbox game was fine. I mean, nobody ever plays it anymore or cares about it, but it was, a launch Xbox 360 game.
Perfect Dark Zero.
Yeah.
There was a Game Boy Color game that launched with the original.
Yeah, that's right.
I never played that one though.
That's really funny.
But Rare had been developing for Nintendo since the early NES days. They were very prolific on the NES, but nobody knew their name. It wasn't until Donkey Kong Country, right?
Yep, exactly.
What else is there to say about Perfect Dark? Oh yeah, Nintendo owned a 49% stake in Rare, and I just don't know. On one hand, I would think I don't know what they were like. They were pumping out so many hits for Nintendo. Why wouldn't Nintendo just want to acquire them? But then again, like we were just saying, this seemed to be the kind of the beginning of the end for Rare, as people were leaving. And
Well, is that because you were saying already that like talent had left?
yeah,
I didn't realize
key
that.
talent was starting to leave. So what Microsoft acquired wasn't like the same team that was here for this, for Perfect Dark or Banjo.
This is not the same team that's making Sea of Thieves.
No. But man, they wouldn't really have another hit until Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
I mean,
'cause
right?
Then it was what Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, or
Which I
whatever that
liked.
game was.
Which I liked. I know it didn't really resonate, but I liked that game. And then they did a lot of Connect stuff.
That's
They
right.
were they were assigned to do Connect, and then they did Rare Replay in 2015, and then Sea of Thieves in 2016.
Which had a rocky start and now is super beloved.
I really do think their like last few GameCube games tell an interesting story too, because of the Dinosaur Planet Star Fox game. But then there was also the one that was for kids. What was it, Grabbed by Ghoulies or one of those ones? Remember that?
Oh yeah. And then do you remember that it was supposed that Perfect Dark was supposed to ship with like a face scan feature, so you could scan your face into the game.
But didn't IGN mess with that early and like scan in editors and take pictures of them?
Yeah, there were
and stuff?
screenshots of like Matt Casamassina, his face in Perfect Dark.
Yeah, that's great.
Shortly before it shipped, Nintendo decided to remove that feature. Of course, other games would include that feature later on. I have good memories of Rainbow Six Vegas and putting my face on my character. And